You are listening to the Fairways and Fundraising podcast, powered by Golf Event Planning, discussing charity fundraising and successful golf outings, along with tips and tricks of the trade. Now here's your host, Larry Battaglia.
Hello, and welcome to Fairways and Fundraising, powered by Golf Event Planning. This is episode number 18. Thanks for joining us. And today we have with us remote session. We have the pleasure with speaking with a good friend of mine for the last couple of years, the New Jersey and part of the Met section sales representative for Titleist and Footjoy, Dave Bosworth. How you doing, Dave?
Oh, I'm doing great, Larry. Thank you so much for having me today. It's a real pleasure, buddy.
It's my pleasure. I hope you and your family, first off, are staying safe and healthy during this pandemic.
Yeah, it's been we're all getting to know each other again, but it's been a good experience as well. So it's obviously everybody wants to stay safe and be healthy, but at the same time, we're trying to take advantage of the time together. So trying to be positive.
Yeah, I agree, and that's really all you can do. You and I have obviously been talking at length for the last month or so. Our perspective is, this is a great time to sort of, reinvent, to reorganize, and to sort of put a more detailed plan together to better service, your clientele.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I know you've been doing this, Larry, and you've made tremendous progress for a lot of value-added things for your clients, and I've been doing the same as far as learning a great deal of different ways to engage communication with my golf professionals, which has been good for them and good for me, helping their business, helping mine, and taking some of the time to work on the things that, as a little older sales rep, that I don't do quite as well. But we've been very lucky to have a lot of support inside Titleist Footjoy. We've been doing training programs and computer programs, and it's been really been good experience.
I can't wait to talk about what's on the horizon with Titleist and Footjoy. But first, how did you get started in the golf business, and how long have you been with Titleist and Footjoy?
Thank you, Larry. So I've been with Titleist Footjoy going on 34 years, so it's been a long time. I am one of the rare ones my background was not golf. A lot of the sales reps that work for Titleist Footjoy that were either golf professionals or came inside to work with Titleist Footjoy and had a strong golf background. I was in retail. I ran a sporting goods store in Englewood, New Jersey, which was called Sports City Warehouse Outlet. And at the time, it was the racquetball boom. It was back in the 80s. And Footjoy at the time was the number one shoe in racquetball, not just golf. They had a big presence in racquetball. And I made friends with the people at Footjoy, and I went to work for them in a retail capacity where I was calling on the racquetball clubs and the sporting goods stores. Eventually, as racquetball slowed down and the independent sporting good guys started to struggle a little bit, Footjoy got away from athletic shoes and stuck with our core business right around the time that Titleist really took over managing both brands. It was a really good thing, and we stayed with the core of what we do, which is golf. And so I was lucky enough to get on the golf side. I moved from Jersey out to Kansas City, which was a wonderful experience living out there. I was a sales representative out there for 2 years, and then from there, I moved to the Carolinas, where I was responsible for coastal South Carolina. I had from Hilton Head up through Wilmington, including Myrtle Beach, and I was there for 6 years. And then eventually got back home here to New Jersey, which was great.
Some great sections, a lot of great golf courses in some of the sections that you mentioned.
Yes.
When you and I first met, we just clicked right away. I mean, there's a certain communication that you and I have that I think you have to have as a sales representative working with the golf professionals at these country clubs, and you definitely have that.
Thank you so much, Larry. You too.
The relationship that you do have with the golf professionals, I'm sure, is one that there's sort of an intimacy that you have to have, and sort of an understanding of what they go through during the year and trying to order. And of course, right now with the pandemic, maybe putting their spring orders on hold. But I think that it's a relationship that you obviously have to nurture, and it takes time to work with them year in and year out.
Yeah, it's really a special relationship. It's a very unique relationship. On the sales side, working with the PGA Golf Professional in the Met section in New Jersey, a lot of the guys own their shop. I would say we're probably at about 85% of the guys that own their shop, and the ones that don't are just as emotionally involved and invested in their operation. But I have the luxury of working with the golf professional both as an athlete and a retailer. So it's an unusual relationship. We rely on them as great partners from a leadership perspective because they're wearing our stuff, whether they're competing in events, ambassador program, really a strong leadership qualities that they represent. And then at the same time, integrated as a retailer. So the combination of those two relationships is really, it makes it more intimate, more fun. There's so much camaraderie within the sections, and all the guys know each other. So you're one relationship with one of your golf professionals. They're all friends and we're together a lot. So it's a really neat thing. Additionally, Larry, the business model of what the golf professional has is in many ways not there anymore. It's very old school. The golf professional is very lucky to have that. We're very lucky to share this together, in the fact that they're really small family businesses, if you think of it that way, and almost the way Main Street used to be years ago, where you had a lot of small stores and family businesses. There's not that many anymore. So that's a really, really nice thing. And it's a nice thing for the end user with the golf professional as well. It's an intimate relationship, and one that I cherish a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And, as you said, many of the golf professionals own their shop, and they are a separate entity from the country club while being employed by the club. So, they have to manage their shop as if it's a small retail store. And there's so many elements. I remember when I was a golf professional assistant back 25 years ago or so, there's so many things that they do day in and day out with the ambassador program, and that they're leaders using the equipment, playing the certain golf balls, wearing the apparel. It's just it never ends. They're running tournaments, merchandising, handicapping, trying to turn a profit. They're giving lessons. They're selling hard goods. I mean, there's so many dynamics that go into the world of a country club golf professional.
There's no question about it. They balance so many things, and they work so incredibly hard. It's interesting. People that are outside the golf business that I know and I've known my whole life. It's, what do you do, Boz? My nickname's Boz. I said, I work with the golf professional and sales for Titleist, Footjoy. I said, wow, golf professional. Boy, that sounds like it's just got to be just a fun job. What do they do? Play golf all day? These are the hardest working guys and gals I know.
So far from the truth, you never play golf. You watch everybody else play golf. You help them play golf. You're right.
There's no question.
The hardest working, sun up to sundown, and then beyond.
Yeah, they really do, Larry. It's an incredibly hard job. You have let's take a private equity club. Hypothetically, there's 350 members. That golf professional's got 350 bosses, and he has to really maintain those relationships equally, and he's got to really develop a relationship with every single member. And some of them are fantastic, and some of them, like anything else in business, are more challenging. Like no difference than general population, but you're talking about members that own the club. So therefore, the golf professional is working for all those people. It's I would say, if you can do customer service at some of the levels that the golf professional does it, there's many industries these people can go in and achieve great success. They're really it's a really good business.
Yeah, more so than that. Not only having all those bosses, is you see these people every day, every other day.
No question.
Unlike a retail store where people come and go, it's like, let's say you come into a situation. Tomorrow you're going to run into that same individual, and you have to make sure that the air is cleared and there's good communication so that it doesn't turn into a long-term issue.
We're all allowed to have off days, unless you're a golf professional. And they can't have an off moment. I get in my van and I drive to the next customer, and I can punch the steering wheel and sing and or do whatever I do. The golf professional's got to be on all the time. It is it's a tall order, and it is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't make it in this business. Is you got to really want it. A lot of young professionals I have conversations with, and they're thinking about getting out of the business or staying in the business, and sometimes they'll ask me what I think, and I say you got to love it. Listen, I have a question that I ask them all the time, and I'll say, I want you to answer this question: do you want to play in the member guest tournament, or do you want to work it? There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. If your answer is you want to work it, you want to be a golf professional. If you want to play in it, wrong answer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, there's an extreme passion to get in this business and to become a golf professional, or to work in this business at any level, starter, bagroom attendant, anyone at your country club. But for you, you have an extreme passion working with Titleist and Footjoy and dealing with the soft goods and the hard goods, the apparel and the equipment. So what's it like working for an incredible company like Titleist Footjoy?
It's been a great experience. We're not to sound too corny, but to be with the industry leader, and at the same time, we're a family. And that is really extremely fortunate. Over 34 years, I can tell you that nothing's changed. We have been blessed to feel like we're a small company when we're a very big company. It's been a great experience. We have separate salesmen in every section, where we have a Titleist sales representative and a Footjoy representative. I'm on the Footjoy side, and we work with our Titleist partners. We do events together, and it's really a wonderful, true partnership within each section. We work together, so it's been great. There were some adjustments, about, I guess it was 10 years ago, when Footjoy got in the apparel business, and every category that you sell in golf, or probably anything, it's its own art form. When you're selling shoes, not to make it overly sophisticated, it's not, but when you're presenting a line in footwear, there's a way to communicate the message. There's a way you hold the product. There's a way you talk about what's good and what's not bad, what's bad about a product, and as it relates to the club. And apparel's a very different thing altogether. That's a whole separate art form. And so it's really been great, as Footjoy has made such a strong position in golf apparel now, that I've got to learn a whole new piece of the business. And we've got a lot of people at Footjoy that came from the apparel industry from many different companies, and it's been great to lean on them and learn from them. So it's been a growing experience. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it's such a well-known brand, and great quality top to bottom, between the equipment, the golf balls, now the apparel side. If you're playing golf, Titleist and Footjoy. Best golf shoes in golf, best golf ball in golf also. We love working with Titleist and Footjoy, and moving forward, looking to do some really cool gifting at some of our golf tournaments. And you've already been doing that, of course, at these member guest tournaments and golf outings. And I think it's so important that a golfer gift is something of value nowadays, and even more so when this pandemic subsides and we get back out on the golf course. Golfers aren't going to be able to go to every single golf outing that they want to. So they really will choose the golf tournaments that provide the best value, or maybe the best experience, or perhaps the best gift.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a great point, Larry. And both the member guest perspective that the clubs host, they're like family reunions. They take on a personality of their own. Again, the golf professional ends up knowing all the guests, right? Because you're servicing them for a 4-day weekend. And everything that happens within that weekend, whether it's the dinner dance, whether it's the food they get, and whether it's the type of gift they get, and of course the golf experience, most importantly, is all an integrated part of how they feel about that event. The gift is so important. Titleist and Footjoy puts together a really great balance of brands. We have so many options in each of our business models, and when we put them together, naturally, it's really powerful. And you could, a club can do Titleist Footjoy 10 years in a row and basically not repeat any product they did the prior year. So it's really great. As far as the golf outing piece goes, it's such a great way to raise money for these charities, and so many people do so much great work. Larry, you have so many great stories about the people that are doing such amazing work. It's really great to see. But the reality is the experience that they have when they're at a golf outing has a lot to do with raising money. So having fun and having a great time brings people back. And the result is it raises more money. So from start to finish, what goes on in the golf outing is really, really important. And I know a lot of events, Larry, that you're involved in. You do such a great job with the value added and the way you work with the clubs and the golf professional, the general managers, hand in hand to put out a tremendous experience is great. And the gifting, again, is part of that. And we do anything from being there that day and having a full menu when you go in and there's a Titleist Footjoy store, or you can go in and we're giving shoes away, or it could be packages. You pick 2 or 3 packages. And of course, today we're also providing the ability through individual sites. We're basically creating stores both for outings and club events where you can go on and procure a wonderful gift and have it waiting there for you. So it's put the golf professional and the people in your industry also kind of in the e-commerce channel, right? Because it's allowing you to communicate directly to the end user, get what they want, it's secured, and it's ready for them. So we come at it a lot of different ways. But net result is that it matters. So if you went to a golf outing and you're playing a pretty good golf course and you got a bag of teas and a shoe bag that no one recognized the brand, and it ends up in the corner of somebody's garage and it costs the event, $50, it loses something versus coming in and getting a pair of Footjoy shoes. People remember that always. And why it's self-serving, I like to think we're a really big part of adding to these events, Larry.
I completely agree. And I think the industry has definitely changed from the golf outing side. And what I mean by that is 20 years ago, when I first got in this business, the philosophy was, hey, you're playing a private country club today. I'm asking you for $500, and I'm going to shake your hand, give you some teas and a sleeve of no-name golf balls, and send you out on the golf course. Those days are over.
No question.
You really have to provide something unique, and all our clients are now starting to look in that direction where they want to provide something that's a little bit more exciting to the guest, because as you said, they come back. And for our business, what we try to do is bridge the gap between the uneducated consumer, maybe the charity that didn't understand this concept, and the golf professional, to try to say, this is where you should be getting your goods from. This is where we could do some really unique things and support them. And I think that's very important. How are the golf professionals dealing with courses being shut down, and of course they've put their spring orders on hold?
It's been a really challenging time for the golf professional, keeping in mind that so many of these folks own their own shop. They're small businesses. So a lot of challenges come with that. You're talking about 70% of their year's inventory, certainly in this market, that's seasonal, is coming in March. It's front loaded. And then there's shipments through the balance of spring into fall, but they get a big load in. And so they've taken this product and there's no customers there. So, but together with the companies, we're figuring out ways to make that work, and we're working together because it's a small industry, and we certainly have to help each other. A lot of my golf professionals have been jumping on maintenance crews at their club, which has been great. They're constantly adding value to what they do. I've seen a lot of video stuff being done where they're sending out video lessons. I have one professional Ron Korn at Cedar Hill that's been sending out a daily lesson to all his members, and he uses home products to kind of make it fun, which has been great.
That's great.
And yeah, he's great. And you know what? And I think that they also, a lot of guys and gals have gotten involved in from a charitable side. There's a lot of great members at these clubs that do that kind of people don't see that do a lot. And I mean, a lot of charity work. And the golf professionals and them have worked in conjunction to do some pretty special things. So I think like a lot of us, they're trying and use the time to reinvent themselves and make themselves better. But it's been hard, but we're going to come out of this good.
Yeah, it definitely has been hard, but I agree. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that we'll all be, stronger for it. We just got to get through it, take some perspective from what we've learned, try to forge forward. That's all we can do. So
I agree with you.
Yeah, that's some great stories. I mean, I've been watching some golf professionals that play guitar and they're every day doing some type of jam on social media.
Yes.
Just something that they can do to just entertain us or educate us as far as the golf lessons. I think that's awesome. Speaking of lessons, what's your golf game like? You mentioned when you got in the business, you were working, you had your own sporting goods store. So, I don't know if you were a golfer prior to then. What led you towards the golf business?
So I'm not a very good golfer, which makes me an exception to the Titleist Footjoy sales force. We are blessed with a lot of tremendous collegiate players, a lot of ex-PGA golf professionals, a lot. And their motivation not their motivation as much as the love of the game is what got them in the business. And I came in the business sideways through the sporting goods side and the athletic footwear side. So that being said, it's actually been good for me because both the PGA professional and my associates at Titleist Footjoy have a better time laughing at me because I stand out because I'm not a very good player than they do as if I was just another good player. So it's been fun to not be a very good golfer in an industry where I'm surrounded by great players, but we have a good time with it.
Yeah, I understand, and that's the thing. It's like I think I was a decent golfer at some point, but now, ever since being in this business for so long and not being able to play, I mean, I think I played 11 times last year.
Sure.
You just, that's secondary. If you can get out on the course and enjoy a nice day and relaxing, it's great. But there's just something about, even if you're not golfing, just kind of getting to the golf course, the smell of the fresh grass in the morning, just, activity at the club. It's just a great, great social environment that I got addicted to, when I was in my early 20s, and just feel blessed and fortunate just to, be doing something that I love.
It's a great game. It truly is. It's a game that comes with a lot of character. It's an individual game where you have to stand on your own. You can't hide by anybody. There's no politics. And I really, for me personally, it's been great to be accepted by the golf community as not someone that's a good player. And it says a lot about the people within the game. They're not passing judgment on you. It's a great group of people. It really is. I'm blessed to have had golf in my life. That's for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And how weird is it going to be this year? Usually, you start getting those feelings of being out on the golf course when you see the Masters in the spring. Every April just gets you like, oh, I can't wait to get out there. Look at how beautiful this is. And now that tournament's pushed to November, so it's going to be kind of strange to see it at the end of the year and say, wow, gonna have to take a trip somewhere or something.
Yeah, that's my favorite event on television and in sports and in anything. I look forward to that every year. It's just that last year with Tiger was just, that was unbelievable. What a great moment that was at the end. Incredible. And it does start the season. I think golf can be many things. And one of them is therapeutic in the sense that it's a good activity and it brings people together. Fortunately, there's some relative spacing involved in golf. And I think golf, when we get going, could be good for people. Listen, I think it's a healthy game. We're lucky to be a part of it. I've had some interesting conversations with some of our frontline workers that are policemen and firemen that just love to golf. And I know they are really looking, nurses and doctors are looking forward to playing. They are really, then they can use it for sure. They can use that therapy for now because they've been just remarkable.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I can't even imagine being in those careers it's certainly something that no one would ever expect. And they have to step up and they have. It's just unbelievable.
Incredible.
But you're right. I think golf is an outlet. I think it's a great way to stay in shape. So many people think that, golf isn't exercise. Oh, well, you bet it is. I mean, and that's not even if you're walking. I mean, even riding a golf cart, there's a lot of walking involved in golf. And
sure.
And in every spring, you go to the range or you play your first round of golf. The next day, you wake up, your back's sore, your sides are sore. You're like, wow, what did I do? Oh, yeah, I golfed yesterday. I guess it is exercise, right? But
no doubt, and something we can do later on, and as we get older, which is great.
Yeah, and you can definitely practice social distancing out on the course and get out. And I see some of these clubs now that have been open. People are going out and golfing.
There's no question.
Yeah, it's great to get away. I mean, listen, golf's a great way to get away from the stress of your career or job or whatever it is. Same thing here. It's kind of like a brief moment to get away from the reality that we're living in.
Oh, people are very anxious to get out and golf. Kind of reminds me when I was, when you're a kid growing up and spring comes and Little League starts, right? And you can smell the grass, right? You're really feeling what's coming. I think, young adults and all the way, and children all the way up with golf to all ages have that same feeling with golf at every age group. And it's, the spring is notorious for starting that. I've had so many conversations in the last week, golf professionals and golfers alike, that are just so anxious to get the season started. And of course, want to approach it with one that makes obvious sense for everybody's well-being, but really excited about getting the golf season going.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'm starting to hear that chatter. We have a client and she has not postponed her outing, and it's coming up in the next month and a half. And she threw an email out, some phone calls and texts to some people. And they basically told her, my friends and I have been talking about this, that this could be one of the first things that we can do when this pandemic is over. And we're looking forward to it, as long as we just practice social distancing and are aware of how we're going to serve food and keep people safe. Well, people are looking for something to do and to get out on the golf course. And look, even if she tells them, look, you don't have to pay by the time the golf outing comes around. We can do it in installments so that, people are just getting back on their feet. She completely understands that, but it's a way that we can all just kind of get together again and get back to something we love to do and something that, we feel like we're a part of.
Oh, it's a great point, Larry. And, when you think of golf outings, and sometimes we forget the end result is a lot of money being raised, right? For really, really great causes, because in the middle of all that, people are having a great time. And I can tell you there's certain golf outings that I work where a great experience is being put out, where people look forward to that day like it's Christmas. They literally look forward to that day like they're a little kid waiting for Christmas morning, and it's that much fun, and it's a great sense of camaraderie. And at the end of the day, we're doing something good. So it's really, I'm seeing a lot of events getting rescheduled, which is encouraging. I've had less canceled and more put into summer and fall, which I think is great. People, that just is a true testament. People want to stay with it because they know the results are great.
Yeah, I do too. And I do think that's something that we're all going to need. We're all going to want. Better days are ahead. We had better days in the past. We'll come back and come back stronger. And that's what we're doing today, is just kind of talking about some of these great moments and these great game of golf can really get us out there and give us a different perspective on our life and what we're going through. I look forward to working with you later this year in so many different ways. Titleist and Footjoy brand is just, it's a brand that I'm pleased to be aligned with as a business, and one that I think that golfers appreciate, know, and love, and respect. It offers so much value when you get a Titleist or Footjoy gift at a golf tournament, whether it's a member guest, a charity golf event, whatever the case may be. And now with the digital gifting that you guys are working on for later this year, why don't you explain a little bit about that, about how people can, tournaments can sort of work with Titleist and Footjoy and provide this digital gifting where guests can pick out their item and then the item is there at the event.
Yeah, it's a very exciting. It really both is time effective and it allows the participant to really individualize their gift. So what we do is we create for the golf professional. We've been creating URLs that basically go out to every participant. They populate into a virtual store. There'll be a list of either packages where there's 4 gifts that are available and you pick the one you want. You put in your individual information, be it size, color, etc. Or we have a shopping experience where there's you get a budget, and let's say that's $150, and there's a list of items at a lot of different pricing, and you procure that stuff for yourself. And then when you show up to the event, the gift is there, procured with your name on it. And you just basically, with a system like you run, Larry, which is so incredibly efficient, it's going to be smooth. The car is going to pull around. You're going to know who it is. It's going to go right into the trunk. Someone's going to park their car. There's no labor for the day. So it's really cool. That's going to be great. And that's going to be supported by the fact that we're going to continue to have inventory there, shopping experiences that people can come in and pick out what they want at the club. That's going to continue to be an option. And packages will continue to be an option. So we're going to approach it from basically 3 offerings that the outing can design it any way they want. They can do it in advance through digital means, or we can be live there at the event doing it, whatever kind of experience you want, or you can mix it up from year to year. So it just gives a lot of options to each event to have different experiences that make for a memorable event, that's for sure.
Again, like we talked about earlier, retooling, brainstorming and coming up with better solutions to keep that event experience at a high level. And that sounds great. I look forward to doing some of those gifting experiences with you at some of these great clubs that we work at. Just again, better days are ahead. We're going to get through this and get back out on the golf course and at these country clubs.
Oh, no question, Larry. We're very fortunate to think about it to be in the golf business. I mean, if you think what people are going through today, I would consider us to be extremely lucky to be in the position we're in. I'm very appreciative of everybody that's out there, and I think golf will support that with both some great fundraisers are going to come from that and a great outlet of a great game where people can it's just going to be therapy for people to get out and enjoy the wonderful game of golf.
Yeah, definitely. So today we were talking with Dave Bosworth, the New Jersey sales representative for Titleist and Footjoy, a little bit of the Met section he touches as well. Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you in the past. I look forward to working with you again, and I can't thank you enough for coming on and spending some time with us today, providing some great content that we can continue to provide a distraction for our listeners as we're going through this pandemic.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for everything that you do for the golf community to make people's golf experiences better, to work in partnership with the PGA professionals and the clubs to make just absolutely remarkable events that add to the experience and help raise a lot of money for a lot of great things. You do a great job. I thank you.
No, thanks. It's going to be great. We're all going to sharing the wealth together. So can't wait to get back out on the golf course with you and a lot of these golf professionals, and enjoy watching everybody and enjoy the game of golf like they do. So thanks again for coming on, and ciao for now.
Thank you for listening to the Fairways in Fundraising podcast, powered by Golf Event Planning. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and please remember to subscribe, rate, and review.